Tonight, the Kings hit the road, start the first of a 4-game road trip in Chicago. The Chicago Bulls, Kings coming off a loss to Milwaukee. We'll get all into it. I should say, I am Ryan in Sactown. Thanks for joining me. This is the pregame show on If You Don't Like That. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday evening. Early start for the Kings tonight in Chicago. Tips off in about 30 minutes. So thanks for joining the pregame show. Kings coming off the loss to Milwaukee. They're 8-2 after the break. But you know what? We kind of talked about this in the postgame show with Grant. And to me, we learned more about the Kings in that loss than we did in pretty much every other win of the season that the Kings have had. So look for them to really bounce back in this one, but it's going to take a good first quarter. What is up, Garrison? How you doing tonight, man? Thank you for joining the show. It's going to take a good first quarter, and the Chicago Bulls team at 31-36. Currently, they are the 11th seed in the East. They're not a bad team. They're not. They are streaky. So the Kings are going to have to bring it in terms of setting the table for lineups tonight. The Kings will be pretty much full strength with the exception of Trey Lyles. We can get into that a little bit more. Your thoughts on the little scrum at the end of the game against Milwaukee. But Trey was suspended for 1 game by the league, so he will be out. The Bulls are without Lonzo Ball, who has been out for a little bit now. Other than that, they are pretty much at full strength. Alex Caruso will not be playing for them. What's up, Jose? Thank you so much for tuning in. Always let us know where you're watching the show from. Love to shout you guys out. Let's see. I can't not say what's up. What's up, Listen App crew? Thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate it. So, the Kings full strength tonight, minus Rashawn Holmes. I keep saying full strength. Call me out here in the chat. Rashawn is out with a non-COVID illness, so him and Trey will not be on the floor. But this should be one that's not an issue for the Kings. It really shouldn't. Chicago, they present some interesting matchups. Chicago, they don't love the 3-ball. Chicago, in fact, they are 30th in the league in 3-point attempts. That being said, if they get going, they can knock them down. Zach LaVine is an awesome small forward 2-guard. Him and DeMar DeRozan are somewhat interchangeable. Zach LaVine can be very, very streaky. But DeMar DeRozan, what can you say about him? Multiple-time NBA All-Star, and probably, besides De'Aaron, one of the best mid-range games in the league, hands down. And in fact, the Bulls, that's where they live. They love the mid-range. In 2-point attempts, they are 6th in the NBA. They've shot actually 1,000 more 2-pointers than they have 3-pointers. So that tells you all you need to know about their team, and we can kind of break down the defensive scheme and the matchups with that. But also, do not forget about Nikola Vucevic. He's a long big, and he can play inside and out. I would kind of draw a comparison to Brook Lopez, not as big as Brook, but he's lengthy like Brook. And Vucevic, he shoots the 3 very, very well. So Sabonis will have his hands full. I went back and I watched some of the film leading up to this one when they played Denver. In fact, the Bulls beat Denver in Denver. And I wanted to see how Vucevic guarded the Joker. And quite frankly, he guarded him pretty well. He pushed him out of the paint a little bit. He wanted him to start, from the free throw line extended. So look for a little bit of that tonight with the way that the Bulls guard the Kings. But enough about the Bulls. Let's talk about our Kings. Third in the Western Conference right now, and still rolling. If you have any problems with that loss, then you gotta go back and watch it again, or kind of just think about where this team sits, because they went toe to toe, punch for punch with an NBA champion. And the Kings played pretty much a perfect first half, in my opinion. They did it all. They took away some of Milwaukee's strengths. Giannis certainly got his, but Giannis pretty much always gets his. Giannis, there's a reason they call him the freak. But in the second half, Milwaukee made adjustments. Chris Middleton got going, and that was the difference. Milwaukee had been there before, like they know how to respond. And the fact that the Kings took them down to the wire, it really, really impressed me. Yeah, Cody, Levine has been playing well as of late. Levine, if you guys remember, there was some talks a few years ago. Levine almost came to Sacramento, but he stayed in Chicago ultimately. But he's a good guard. And when we talk about Levine, we talk about DeMar DeRozan, kind of how I started off the show about they don't shoot a lot of threes, speaking of the Bulls, and they like to penetrate, dribble, penetration, and get to the mid-range. Vucevic loves the mid-range. DeMar DeRozan, one of the best mid-range guys in the game. Thank you, Will. Yes, hit the like button. Indeed. Um, they like to get into the paint. Zach LaVine, he can get to the hoop when he wants to get to the hoop. So the Kings are absolutely going to have to be on their heels tonight and make sure they are not giving up the straight line drives. I feel like on these pregame shows, I'm giving you the same tips to the game and the things that I'm looking at, but it's exactly that. They have to watch those straight line drives. And the way I see it in this game, because the Bulls, not very good in terms of scoring in their offense. I believe they're 24th in the league in offense. Defense is actually a little bit better. They're not terrible on defense, but make the Bulls beat you from behind the 3-point line. Make them beat you, and go from there. And maybe that means mixing in a little bit of zone. The Kings have dropped into that a couple times, but what you can't do is let them start beating you inside and off the ball. That's going to cause issues and foul trouble, and we got to really watch that tonight without Trey. Hey, what's up, Paul? Watching from Folsom. Let's see. The bench needs to show up again. Kessler fills in for Trey. Yeah, Kessler, that's going to be an interesting one, how Mike Brown handles that. But expect Kessler to get more minutes. And Kessler is the perfect type of guard to be guarding Levine, guarding DeRozan. I think that he will get some decent minutes tonight, and I expect him to respond. And look for Kessler to frustrate those guys. That's what I want to see. I want to, Trey Lyles getting into, and everybody calling it a fight. That wasn't a fight. That was a scuffle. But Trey Lyles saying, we're not going to take this, on our home court. We're not going to take this, period. We don't care who you are. If you're the Bucks, if you're the Nuggets, it speaks a little bit to this culture shift to a degree that we've seen all season, but then also seeing Kessler Edwards flying around the floor. There was a time in the first half where him alone, there was 2 defensive stops just from hustle. He makes a play on the offensive end, hustles all the way back, closes out, causes a travel, and then the next play down, he rotates, makes them throw the ball into the 19th row. So that becomes contagious on a team. So, yeah, the bench needs to be big tonight. And when we talk about the bench, who do we think of the most? Malik Monk. Monk has got to get right tonight. This is a get-right game for Malik. The Bulls, like I said, they like the mid-range. They love the mid-range. So the Kings need to dictate the pace of play tonight. So I look for Monk and Fox to push that pace. So the Kings, get out, get running, and, just do what they do, because we've seen, and we're going to see it more in the playoffs, but we've seen the Kings don't like to play as much in the half court, and the Bulls want you to play in the half court. So let's not get caught in that game. Let's do what we want to do. Yeah, Cody, the Nikola and Sabonis matchup, it's going to be good. It's going to be really different when Vucevic is out of the game because they've got Andre Drummond that's going to be coming off the bench for him, and he's more of a shot blocker, big, likes to be more closer to the hoop. Nikola can play he can play wherever he wants for the most part, outside, inside. So that matchup with him and Sabonis will be fun, but because he likes to play a little bit more outside at times, Sabonis has really got to watch the foul trouble because, as we've seen, Metu struggles with bigs that play inside out, and he is not very good off the dribble defending that. So hopefully Sabonis can guard without fouling. Gosh, you guys are putting up so many comments. I really, really appreciate it. I agree with you, Cody, about the moves with Kessler Edwards and putting him in. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining. And thank you all for joining the shows. I'll be joining Grant at halftime and postgame, but you guys are freaking amazing. We've had close to 30,000 people join all the shows combined over the past few games. So thank you. We can't say thank you enough. And tell a friend. You would be surprised how many people have no idea that Grant's back and he's doing a show. So tell a friend, get him on here. Let's continue to make this the destination for Kings game day coverage. And you guys are just absolutely the best fans out there. No doubt about that. So let's see. We've got a comment about suspension was justified for Trey. Paul, yeah, Trey was justified for standing up for the team. Yeah, I think Coach Brown made a comment like, hey, I don't care. That's awesome. Basically, I'm paraphrasing there. But he was happy with it. And so that's what this team needs. And I'm so happy to see it because we see so many of the guys on the team, your Harrison Barnes, your Keegan Murrays, your Davion Mitchells, they're so even keel, and so Trey, even actually, you could kind of put him in that category. Doesn't show a lot of emotion. So that tells you mentally they are there and they're not going to take anything from other teams. And that's great. Rick, thanks for tuning in from Iowa, buddy. Where are you watching from in Iowa? I've got some friends out there. So interested to see how you found us, but appreciate you being here. Come back for halftime and postgame indeed. So, the Kings, this one's interesting. So if you ever go on ESPN, they have the matchup predictor, and the Kings, even though they're favored in this game by 1.5, the Bulls are actually, per ESPN's projections, supposed to have a 62.1% chance of winning tonight. Why do you think that is? Do you think the Kings are going to have a letdown? Do you think it's the first game of a road trip and they're adjusting to the time difference? I was a little bit surprised about that. But I don't ultimately see that happening in the Kings. And as I say that, it's changing to 39.5. So that tells me they're probably following the Vegas bets and the money being put on the game. But it's going to come down to a good first quarter for the Kings. We sound like a broken record, but they have to get out to a good start in this one. Kessler Edwards, I think he is a very good tone setter. I like seeing him as the first player off the bench. But as Cody said earlier, the bench is going to have to show up tonight. I've said it the last couple games. I think the Kings need to have 3 guys off the bench in double digits, considering how many minutes that a lot of those guys get. We know Mike Brown likes to ride the hot hand. He doesn't care if you're a starter or if you're coming off the bench. If you are playing well and the matchups are right, you will play. Just again, as we've seen Kessler is 8 into Keegan's minutes. Some of that is a byproduct of the matchups and who the Kings were playing against. Mike Brown probably liked Kessler on some of the 3-and-D guys, and vice versa. He's playing well. So I don't think it's any indictment on Keegan. Keegan's going to be fine. Expect the Kings to get him going too. Expect them to run some plays for him right off the bat. And also Kevin Herter. You have got to get the ball in Kevin's hands coming off those screens, because he is on a burner right now. Almost a career high in points. He has flirted with that 30 mark multiple times this year, but can't get it. So I think he should just bypass 30 altogether and go straight to 40. That's what I'm thinking. So let's see. It's got a little bit more of a long comment, Jay. Let's see. Trey's actions were an investment in this team. It's going to pay, yes, dividends. Yeah, I agree. Yep. It's kind of, I would liken it to Mike Brown calling out the guys after the Knicks game. I think that that was the response on behalf of the players. So that's guys, think about the heyday of the Kings, right? The early 2000s, you had your Doug Christies, you had your Anthony Peelers. Those guys didn't put up with anything. You had Scott Pollard. They would protect their teammates, and they would protect that home court, and they would protect their brand of basketball. So we haven't seen much of that from the Kings right this year, but there hasn't been those situations. Now that the Kings are getting more national run, now that the Bucks got to run for their money. I mean, that was part of it. The game was getting chippy. Brook Lopez, when he got hit in the eye, he was chirping a little bit. So that had been kind of boiling up. That wasn't just a spurt of the moment. We were close and we've now lost the game. We're out of the game. I'm going to do something, right? That was kind of boiling up. So it was a dividend. It will pay dividends. It was an investment in the team and their brand of basketball. So totally with you guys on that. Just a couple updates. Ja Morant, the NBA came out today, and the NBA right now, I don't know what to say about Commissioner Silver. That I could do an entire show on that. I could do an entire rant on that. But they handed down Ja an 8-game suspension. He is not eligible to return until March 20th. And I think Grant made a very good point on the show with Jerry Reynolds earlier today. Just because it's March 20th does not mean he's returning on March 20th. He has not been practicing. He reportedly has not been doing any basketball activities. Right now, he is reportedly in counseling in Florida. So the suspension will count towards the games he has already missed. So he's already missed 5, so basically 3 more. But it's going to probably take him a little bit of time to get right, get back with the team, get conditioning up. So who knows how long we're going to see him out. For now, Memphis is maintaining that 2 seed in the West, Kings 3. But what's happening behind the Kings is really interesting. Golden State's moving up. They're at the 5 seed right now. Suns remain at 4. And you got the Lakers that are playing good basketball. You got a lot of teams, Minnesota playing good basketball. And then you've got your Dallases, et cetera. Minnesota playing good basketball right now. Denver is on a slide. What's up, MC? Thanks for tuning in, buddy. Denver is on a slide right now. So Denver's lost a few games lately. Do you think the Kings have any chance of catching them? Do you want to see the Kings catch Denver? I don't think it really matters, to be honest, and I don't think it's anything that's going to continue much past now. But, I was surprised that Denver lost to Toronto. Like I said, the Chicago Bulls team, they've won 3 of 5 coming into tonight. One of those included Denver. So they can play. They can show up. So that's why the Kings got to bring their A game. But Kings are really good on the road. We know that. Some place that is also really good, in one of my favorite places in Sacramento, is Bennett's. If you have never been to Bennett's, you have got to get over there. What an awesome place to have an amazing steak. They've got prime cuts of steak, awesome seafood, big menu, big portions. Brian Bennett, the owner, huge supporter of the show, huge supporter of the Kings. They have 2 locations right now, one in Roseville, one in Sacramento off of Fow. What am I saying? Off of Howe and Fair Oaks. And they have a 3rd location that's getting ready to come to Rockland in the Blue Oaks Town Center. When I go to Bennett's, I'm a big hanger steak guy. My wife loves the redfish. I know Grant loves the big boy steaks, the T-bone, or not the T-bones, the porterhouse and the bone-in ribeyes. But go give Bennett's a try. They also have a great Sunday brunch, so go check that out. Bennett's locations in Roseville, Sacramento, and soon to come in Rockland. All right. So as we are getting closer to tip off, checking the NBA schedule tonight. We've got the 76ers at the Cavs. Cavs lead that one 12-6. We've got the Grizzlies. This is one to watch. Grizzlies and the Heat. Grizz are up 1 right now in the first quarter. Kings getting ready to tip off here in another couple minutes. And then also we've got the Lakers Rockets going a little bit later tonight. Celtics Timberwolves, Mavericks Spurs, going to be watching that one. And then this is the one that I think everybody's going to be looking for, the Warriors and Clippers in LA. So that's going to be a good one to check out as well. So, all right, guys, give me your thoughts. What do you think about this game? Any concerns about this game? I would love to hear from you on that. Yes, Holmes is out tonight with a non-COVID illness. He's had a few of those as of late, so hopefully everything is good with Rashawn. Thanks, MC. Hit the thumbs up, guys. Again, thank you so much for all of your support of the shows. Grant will be back at halftime and postgame. I'll be joining him, but you guys have been great. We've had close to 30,000 the last couple nights for all the shows combined. So awesome. Really appreciate it. Okay, I will do that. Oh, did you? Okay. Rich, you keep bringing up Brian and Chevy's. You said that he used to work there. I didn't know you worked there too. All right. So, Rich, you know the tortilla recipe? Those things are pretty good. Those things, I'm not gonna lie, those are pretty good tortillas. Some of the other stuff, tortillas, awesome. Like that little corn stuff they put on the plate, I'm not a fan of that. But let's see. We've got prefer the Kings, get the 2 or 3 seed. Yeah. Yep, I agree. Well, I don't want our shoes to get too big for us yet and talk about the Western Conference Finals. But in terms of, and I think it's a fair time we can start talking about it. The teams that I do not want to see. The short list is the Warriors, the Lakers, and then this one's gonna kind of surprise you. The Timberwolves. I don't want to see the Timberwolves. They've kind of had the Kings number this year. They played the Kings really well. Anthony Edwards, great on the perimeter. They have length. They're athletic. I think that they could give the Kings a little bit of a run for their money, for sure. Paula, am I saying that right? Let me know if I'm not. How you doing? Huge period, 5 games in 7 nights. Hope we can, survive without injuries. Knock on wood, right? That's been the thing for the Kings this year. They 14. So think about this. They've only had starters miss 14 games. The next closest team is in the range of 75, 76 games. So their health, I mean, you want to give anybody an MVP award this year, give the MVP award to the Kings trainer. I don't know what they're doing in that building and what they're putting in the water, but this team has been very lucky in a injury-ridden Western Conference. So hopefully they come out unscathed. Grant and Jerry earlier today were talking about Sabonis and what makes Sabonis so special. And, they were laying everything out there because he is a double-double machine, triple-double machine. The one thing that I would add to their conversation that not a lot of people talk about is his conditioning. I mean, Sabonis, he plays just as many minutes on most nights as Fox. And I can't remember really one time this season. And think about this, he's getting beat up down low. And I'm not saying De'Aaron doesn't get it on the perimeter, because he does. But how many times have you seen Sabonis bent over at the knees? How many times have you seen him breathing hard? His conditioning is impeccable. And for a big to play the style he does and to be in that type of condition, that certainly contributes to him staying healthy, and his ability to play through injury like he has with the thumb. So, yeah, Sabonis, absolute monster. It's going to be a fun matchup tonight with Vucevic and him. Say that 10 times fast. That's always a fun one. Let's see. Rhino, were you nervous doing this show without Grant at first? Yes, I was. In fact, Grant has been awesome to me. He has been a mentor. I cannot thank him enough publicly for what he's done and the teaching moments, and really guiding me through this journey. And we'd been doing, or I was able to come on with him for a while on the post games and some of his other shows. But then the thought of doing the show on my own, I was sitting there with my wife and I was thinking, okay, I got to be able to have an opening. I've got to be able to do this, know what you're talking about, monitor the chat, run the show. And yeah, it was a little bit overwhelming at first, but after a while, you forget the camera's even on, and it's just so much fun. And you guys make it so easy, especially with all the great messages. You're so knowledgeable about the Kings and basketball in general. So, yeah, I was nervous at first, but then doing the post games without him, that definitely kind of eased me into things. But good question indeed. T-shirt update. Yes. So the T-shirts, Grant is going to speak to that. We are just waiting for basically the permit that allows him to put them on the website. So that is imminent. I know I keep saying that, but I promise you that's coming any day. Shirts are ready to go, all packed up. And everybody that's emailed, those are set aside for you. So all you got to do is process payment, and everybody that hasn't ordered yet, we'll shoot that link to you, or we'll announce it, put it up on the screen, and it'll all be through Grant's website if you don't like that.com. So yeah, they are right around the corner. Question about Keegan. What do you want to see from Keegan that you didn't see in the Bucks game? Physicality. That's what I want to see from Keegan. His 3-point shot's going to be there. We know that. But I want to see physicality. He's been getting pushed around a little bit on defense. Middleton was a tough matchup for him. I want to also see Keegan, and I said this in the last pregame show, I want the offense to come to I want Keegan to bring the offense to the team. I don't want the team to bring the offense to Keegan. So too many times Keegan is just hanging around the arc, right? I want to see him get involved. I want to see him, maybe bring the ball up a couple times if he gets a rebound. Speaking of rebounds, I want to see rebounds from Keegan. Those are the things I'm looking for from Keegan, because we all know he's going to be open for that 3 ball. He's going to be open, but it's what he does in addition to that 3 ball, whether it's a pump fake, take it to the hoop. That's what Keegan needs to do, in my opinion. But Keegan's doing a great job. He's a rookie. And he's fit in with a 3rd-ranked Western Conference team that's won over 40 games. So he's had more good games than bad games. So nothing bad to say about him. John, you're going barbecue pizza tonight. All right, buddy. I see you. We're going pizza too, actually. It's in the oven right now. Enjoy the barbecued pizza. Cody's talking about Sabonis. Sabonis gets drilled every day. Yeah, he does get drilled every game. He can dish it out as well. Absolutely. Most games, Sabonis is a little bit undersized height-wise, and he makes up for it with his footwork, his fundamentals, and he is strong. His base is incredible. So really, really think that tonight's matchup will be fun. It'll be a lot of fun with him and Vucevic. I'm just gonna say Nikola now. Vucevic, excuse me. So, anyways, we are getting closer and closer to tip off. Just a couple minutes until they do tip it off. I'm looking at the highlights right now. So again, we will be back at halftime and also post game as well. Thanks, Jay. I was going to ask you to get some scores in here. Jay's got 135, Bulls 115. I'd be surprised if the Bulls get to 115. I would be surprised. We will see. Oh, we're doing dinner. All right, give me your dinner too. Rich, I know you're in San Diego. Homemade tamales and chili. Nice. Go Aztecs. Um yeah, you got that. Cool. Very good. Great Mexican food down in San Diego. Strengths for the Bulls. Mid-range. Mid-range is their strength. Penetration off the ball, strength as well. They don't take a lot of three-pointers. They're actually last in the league in three-point attempts, but their mid-range game is incredible. And Zach LaVine, he's the exception to the rule on that. Zach can play anywhere on the court. He's a very explosive player. Rayleigh Sushi. All right. Rayleigh Sushi. I can see that. All right. We got another score from Sports Frequency. We got Kings 132 or 133, 121. All right. Excellent. Yeah, Sabonis, you never know with the media guide. Sabonis is in that 6'10" to 7 foot range. But yeah, here's another score. Kings 120, Bulls 100. All right. Well, we are just about there. Grant and I will be back I will be joining Grant. Don't tell him that I ever say that Grant's joining me because I don't do that, right? I will be joining Grant at halftime, and I will be joining him on the pregame or the postgame show. This is the pregame show. So make sure to come back, check us out, check Grant out. We'll get Rich's score up really quick. 125, 120. Awesome. I am going to say this is a Kings win, Rich. You took the Kings score right out of my mouth. I said it with Grant and Jerry. I am going Kings 125. I'm going to say Chicago 111. So Kings 125, 111. Cody, go Kings. Yes, indeed. All right. Well, thank you again for joining the pregame show. We so appreciate it. You guys are awesome. 42 live on YouTube, a lot of others on Twitter live. So thanks to each and every one of you. We will be back here in about 30 or 40 minutes. Don't forget to join us. Don't forget to check out the shirts once they are live. And we will see you at the half. So long.